Okay, so today I'll actually be talking about why is Squidward one of the worst characters? Well, not really the worst, but why is Squidward so mean to SpongeBob? Well, eventually SpongeBob was quite annoying because SpongeBob is a happy-go-lucky sponge who likes to work in the Krusty Krabs, but sometimes Squidward actually wants to enjoy himself to be alone instead of having SpongeBob and Patrick be their neighbors. So why is Squidward so mean to SpongeBob? Well, eventually in some episodes, he represents his job and is irritated by his greedy employer, Mr. Krabs, because he has a resented neighbor, SpongeBob, as a colleague. Squidward was actually ever nice to SpongeBob. Because of this, he's demonstrated so many times. But even though he deeply cares for his annoying friend and neighbor, not only he does miss SpongeBob, but in the later sentence of his life, he also stands up to him. According to that, Squidward actually has a dislike towards Patrick because his real and like relationship with SpongeBob. He pretends to dislike him, which actually enjoys the company and cares about him. Squidward and SpongeBob actually are not really that enemies, but sometimes Squidward is like that. I would just say that Squidward is actually a selfish and cynical mud individual because he works as a cashier in the Krusty Krab. He gets annoyed by SpongeBob's laughing. And even one time in the episode Little Yellow Book, Squidward actually read SpongeBob's diary, which caused him to cry. And another episode is that Squidward actually played a nasty prank on SpongeBob, which caused him to cry as well. I cannot believe why Squidward was doing something like that. If I seriously think that Squidward is a good character, then yeah, he is, but I'm not too sure why people just say he's the worst character. Again, if you like this character, I can handle your opinion, okay? So basically, Squidward was actually the one trying to be jealous of SpongeBob because he was annoyed with him. They shared close relationship. So Squidward and SpongeBob do have relationship, despite him being the grumpy neighbor and despite SpongeBob being the nice neighbor. But even though SpongeBob actually has exhibited negativity towards Squidward in pizza delivery, Squidward apparently stands up to himself and tries to get the customer to order the drink, even though he changed his mind and made SpongeBob cry. Eventually, Squidward was actually mad at SpongeBob in the episode Best Day Ever, even though he was unable to perform his clarinet because of a broken reed. He then slaps Squidward and reads a new tooth and demands him to play. But eventually for that, a day without tears, as SpongeBob actually made a bet that Squidward that he would not cry once until midnight. But when he wins the bet, it causes to realize that Squidward is going to cheat, but then he cries. He can do whatever he wants to hold his tears inside. But then Squidward is actually nice to SpongeBob at times by naughty nautical neighbors, nature pants, fun, fools in April, Squid's day off, and also dying for a pie. But even though Squidward and SpongeBob do have like different personalities, it's known that Squidward and SpongeBob apparently are close neighbors. Like, despite Patrick being the neighbor of SpongeBob and Patrick, and also Squidward, there are probably a lot of times that Squidward apparently has this prototype call where he gets to bully SpongeBob. I just seriously say that that Squidward apparently is the nasty neighbor of SpongeBob, despite him not caring for SpongeBob at times. However, this thinks that Squidward was actually a mean jerk at times. I seriously do mean that Squidward is actually an okay guy, despite him trying to be a bad influence towards anyone. I'll just say Squidward actually rages out and he gets annoyed at SpongeBob, despite being in the movies as well. I would just say that Squidward apparently does have a feeling. He definitely does have a feeling. I would just say, in my opinion, he would make sure that Squidward would probably be the best. He will be the best of the best. Okay, so eventually I'll just say that Squidward is apparently the neighbor right here who probably doesn't like SpongeBob, but eventually During the boat and school lesson, Squidward definitely does get injured and SpongeBob encourages him to do so, you know. I'll just say that SpongeBob and Squidward are not really that friends of his neighbors, but unfortunately for that, despite Squidward actually having a tough time dealing with SpongeBob, he would probably just stand up to him, you know. I'll just say that's actually all for now, and this is me signing off.